Hey everybody, Nobully here. Today we'll be taking a look at a skin titled 01 Vocaloid by Half Pincer. It is based around the Vocaloid Hatsune Miku and is skinned for standard mode only. Before we get into the review, I'd like to mention our Discord and Twitter. If you ever need skinning help, feel free to ask in our Discord and follow our Twitter for updates. The links to those things will be down below. Let's get started. The most immediate thing that stands out to me, and most likely everyone else, is the choice of theme. The skinner used a triangular particle effect that covers almost the entire bottom section. The back button is simple and fits within the theme very well. The giant Miku on the song select is visually pleasing, but feels in the way at times. The mode, mods, random, and option buttons all have the same triangular theme, but in my opinion they tend to blend in a little too much with the background triangles, making the text more difficult to read. The mode menu looks great, and each mode gets its own color. The mod icons are fairly simple and get the job done, but feel like they're a tad generic compared to others. Everything is clean looking though, and isn't visually repulsive. The ranking screen uses a nice futuristic font that I feel fits in with the rest of the skin, and the ranking background does what it needs to. However, I've noticed there's a small white fringe around all the text on the ranking panel, and it looks fuzzy. There is a black box on the right hand side of the screen that houses the replay and retry buttons, as well as the mods used, which is an interesting approach compared to other skins. I welcome this as something new to the skinning scene, but I feel that it could be executed better. And finally, the ranking letters. They're a little difficult to see because they blend in with the background a little too much, but still look good nonetheless. However, the most inexcusable thing is the lack of a 300 and 300G hit on the ranking panel. This can easily be fixed and should not be missing. Gameplay looks great visually, but is almost too distracting with all the things around the edges. The hit circles are the style that fade instantly and look great. However, the numbers are not traditional numbers, which is another interesting thing the skin does. Not many other skins use this style of numbers. The health bar is animated and has the creator's name in very small text on the left. There is an interesting thing above the combo. I'm not sure why this is here. Maybe the creator assumed the player wouldn't use the scoreboard. However, there is also a border around the scoreboard at the bottom, which is something I've never seen any other skin do. The key overlay looks fantastic and has a lot more effort put into it compared to other skins, and stretches all the way to the bottom of the screen. One other gripe I have about gameplay is the font used for the scoreboard on the left. The text is way too big and is fuzzy. The hits are simple triangles and serve their purpose. There isn't really anything else to note about gameplay in this skin. It's very similar to other minimal skins in other aspects. For the song selection, it gets a 4 out of 5. I thought everything here was fine, but I wish there was a little more color or something. It just feels a little too boring for me to give it a full 5. For the ranking screen, it gets a 3.5 out of 5. The white fringe and fuzziness in the text, as well as some of the ranking letters being difficult to read, are the only things that detract from my rating here. If things were easier to read and less fuzzy, it would definitely be an improvement. For gameplay, it gets a 4 out of 5. I feel that this skin can be very playable if some of the minor distractions were removed, like the oversized HP bar and the weird things on the sides. Everything else looked and played great. Overall, 01 Vocaloid gets a 3.5 out of 5. If some of the poorly done elements were redone, this skin would most likely earn a full 5 out of 5 in my book. The skin itself is very aesthetically pleasing and isn't super annoying with plastering Miku everywhere. Visuals earn a 4, and playability earns a 4.5. What did you guys think of this skin? What about my review? Let us know down in the comments. Subscribe for more content in the future. If you want exclusive member benefits, click that shiny join button down there too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.